I want to challenge something today. Most of us measure how overwhelmed we are by looking at our calendar. How many meetings do I have? Appointments, obligations? How many places do I need to be? While that can tell us part of the story, I want you to think about something different. I want to bring something different to you today. Have you ever ended the day feeling completely drained? But if someone were to ask you what you actually did all day, you wouldn't be able to pinpoint why you are so tired. If that's you, I want you to hear this. You may be used to carrying so much that you've never actually stopped to ask yourself what it's costing you. Sometimes the work draining you most isn't the work everyone can see. It's the work happening quietly in the background. The work no one applauds, no one thanks you for. The work you've been doing for so long, at this point, it just feels normal. And that's the dangerous part. Because once something becomes normal, you stop questioning it. You stop asking, should I be carrying this? Does this belong to me? Is this sustainable? Instead, it becomes, this is just a part of life. This is what it takes. I want to ask you a few questions. Are you the planner? The one who remembers birthdays, appointments, deadlines, and the thing that everyone else forgets? Are you the one who notices tension in the room before anyone says a word? The one who keeps mental notes on what needs restocked, signed, scheduled, cleaned, handled, followed up on? The one who can feel when someone's "I'm fine" isn't actually fine. And if you're nodding right now, I really need you to hear this. That is real work, the invisible load. If no one sees it, even if no one thanks you for it, even if you've gotten so good at it that it feels automatic and just a part of who you are and what you do, it is an invisible workload. And this is where so many highly ambitious people get stuck. They only give themselves permission to feel tired when the visible workload looks heavy enough to justify it, meaning you've checked off enough boxes for the day. They only validate exhaustion when it can physically be proven to others, but mostly to themselves. But exhaustion doesn't need proof or your permission to be real. Listen to me. If you keep dismissing the invisible load just because it doesn't look impressive on paper, you will continue minimizing the very thing that is draining you. Now, I want you to picture something. Imagine you're holding grocery bags in your hand, 5 bags to be exact. Heavier, but manageable. Then someone swaps one bag out for a heavier bag. Still 5 physical bags from the outside eye, but what's inside those bags is entirely different. From the outside, 5 physical bags. Everyone just sees you standing there fully capable of holding those 5 bags. And because they can't see the actual weight, they assume she's fine. She can handle more. Just give it to her. That, my friend, is the invisible load. And eventually something dangerous happens. You stop distinguishing between what you are carrying and what actually belongs to you to carry. I need that to land. Because not everything you carry is actually yours to hold. Just because you are capable of carrying it does not automatically make it yours to carry. Capability becomes a trap. The more capable you are, the more gets handed to you at work, at home, in relationships, in motherhood, in business. And if you never pause long enough to question what is yours versus what you picked up out of habit, expectation, guilt, or other people's comfort, burnout is inevitable. So I want to give you something practical. Everything we're working on this month is an extension from my Elevate Your Frequency workbook. And it is one of my favorite exercises because it helps people get out of mental chaos and into clarity. I call it the invisible load inventory. I want you to grab a piece of paper and create 3 columns. Pause this video if you need to. If you are listening to this in the car or while you're running or while you're on a walk or while you're doing laundry and all the 10 million other things that you're doing, pause this and come back to it. Column 1. We're going to title this column, What I'm Doing. This is the visible work. Okay, so your meetings, laundry, appointments, emails, errands, projects, get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Column 2, what I'm carrying. This is where it gets interesting. So what keeps looping in your mind? What are you managing that nobody else sees? Maybe it's unfinished conversations, unmade decisions, emotional tension, anticipation of something, worrying, planning, the hidden labor. Because this is often where the exhaustion lives. And then column 3, what actually needs my energy this week? Not next month, not eventually, this week. This column helps you separate what feels urgent from what actually matters. And then I want you to ask yourself 5 questions. What keeps looping in my mind? What am I managing that no one else sees? Which decisions have I left open? Where am I being responsible for something that is not fully mine? And the hardest one, what can be delegated, delayed, or dismissed? That last question changes things. Because sometimes what drains you most isn't the actual task. It's the open loop, the unresolved decision, the unfinished conversation, the mental tab that is quietly running in the background. And every open tab costs you energy, whether you realize it or not. Even when you're not actively looking at it. That's why brain dumps feel so relieving. Not because writing everything down magically solves your problems, and not because magically writing everything down means you are going to do all of it, but because clarity reduces the load that you are carrying. My friend, you get to set some of those grocery bags down. Your brain was built to think. It was not built to store every responsibility, every reminder, every expectation, and every emotional burden all at once. At some point, something has to move from your head to a piece of paper and not a hodgepodge to-do list that just sits on your counter that you stare at every single day. Something has to be clarified and something has to be released. Because invisible work is still work, even when it's not applauded, even when it's not seen, and even when it's not fully understood. Here's what I know. Some of the heaviest things that you carry can't be seen. And some of the heaviest things you carry, no one else will ever understand. That does not make the workload less real. So if you're feeling exhausted and you can't fully explain why, get real honest about what you are carrying. Awareness creates choice, and choice is where burnout begins to loosen its grip on your life. If this resonates and you're realizing just how much invisible weight you've normalized, my Elevate Your Frequency workbook will walk you through exercises like this to help you clear those mental tabs, close those cluttered loops, and begin prioritizing what actually deserves your time and your energy. Not everything deserves unlimited access to your mind.